The only thing that separates romantic relationships from friendships is obviously romantic attraction, but also sex. Doing the birds and the bees. So with that being said, obviously a lot of you guys want to have sex with attractive women. However, it's not as easy as you may think. Getting the date is just the first part. That's why in today's video, I'm gonna tell you the top 5 ways you can actually make women want to do that with you ongoingly and consistently the easy way, all right? So subscribe, like, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now let me mention, whenever a woman views you as 8+ in attraction, it's gonna make this process a whole lot easier. Whenever you're lower in attraction, so let's say she has medium interest, which means medium attraction, she sees you as like a 5 or 6, this process is gonna be a lot harder. It's gonna take more time, it's gonna take more effort. So the first step would be to try and do this with high interest women. That way it just makes our lives overall easier. Now, remember, our sexual market value, 8+ is gonna be easy. You guys in the middle range, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. And if you don't know your sexual market value yet, then I highly recommend you check out my free sexual market value calculator. We've had 14,000 of you guys go through it already, got your results back, and now you know immediately of where you can improve. So if you haven't checked it out already, I'm gonna leave a link down below. Be sure to check it out. All right, so the first thing you have to do is to not talk about it, assume it. Guys, this is like rule number 1 of getting sex from a woman is to never speak about it. Listen, you might think, you wanna foreplay with your words, be a little bit verbally aggressive. It might fit into your personality, but overall, you're gonna realize that that's gonna be a reduction in attraction. The reason is because it kills the mystery, it kills the excitement of seduction. Women always want to be seduced. They want the process to naturally happen. They just want to end up in your bed and not talk about it and plan it and be super strategic. I mean, you can be strategic in your head, but you never want to verbally discuss what you want to do with her, your intentions regarding that whatsoever. You want your actions to do all the talking, and your actions is going to be through physical escalation, which we are going to talk about, and also other aspects of your body language. Also, whenever you talk about it, you just come off needy and inexperienced, which overall makes you less attractive. Overall, you need to have what I like to call just an indifference attitude towards sex. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, even better, right? I really don't care. I'm here to just vibe with you and have a nice casual conversation. If it leads to that point and we're vibing well, then let it happen. Otherwise, I'm all right. I like things to happen naturally. And in some cases, you can actually verbally text her that, because they'll ask you, what are you looking for? Or if I come over your place, like, what are we gonna do? And that's how you wanna answer. I like things to happen naturally. If it goes that way, cool. If not, that's fine too. Bam. And funny enough, whenever you do this, it's gonna make you more attractive. It seems like the more that you detach yourself from sex, the more you seem to get it. Versus when you're trying to go for it, when you're steadily really trying to go for the clothes, that overall just signals too much neediness, and thus for that reason, you actually don't get it. So law of opposites. Now I'm not sure about you guys, but I've been in multiple situations where I was about to do the do with a particular woman and she had to stop me. She said, wait, can you change the music? And in my head, I'm like, yo, we're in the moment, like what's wrong with the music? I mean, it's just some talk show or some podcast. And that's when I realized that women need a romantic environment that needs to be set. First off, you need a private environment, unless she's super freaky, right? These freaky girls, you can go to a parking lot, you can go to a park, really doesn't matter, right? But for most women, they want a private environment. And so you have to create that by leading her to the private environment, making the offer to go to your place. She's really not gonna do that for you. Now, after the private environment set, this is where you wanna create the ideal romantic environment. And you do that through 2 ways: lighting and music. Actually, fun fact, whenever I knew a girl was gonna come over, I always set these red lights in my place, like at a low lighting setting. And how I did this was actually through these light bulbs where they change colors. It's called like Philips Hue or something like that. You just control it through the app. And I would set the mood automatically in my room. So by the time we got there, the mood and her emotions are set within that frame. I'm telling you, lighting makes a huge difference. But if you guys don't have like colored light bulbs or nothing fancy like that, what you can do too is just use ambient lighting. So make sure you light your lamps. Don't light the overhead sort of ceiling, and just overall try to use lighting around your space in a unique way. And we all know red is the color of passion. So if you can implement that, it's gonna be even better. Now let's talk about music. My favorite is just slow R&B. It can be 90s R&B, really doesn't matter as long as it's slower pace. Now me personally, I don't like making love to like love songs. Like, it's kind of cringy to me. Y'all can do whatever y'all want, but I personally do not like it. With that being said, You know, you can play even instrumentals, jazz, anything that's slow pace. Once again, we want her in that mindset, in that frame to actually open herself up. And whenever these external environments come at play, it makes the process a lot easier. All right, let's talk about body language and eye contact. This is number 3, guys. If you're not confident within yourself, she's not gonna be confident for her to give herself to you. So with that being said, we have to exude confident body language and let her know through our body language that we are stable in ourselves and that she belongs here and that she's safe with us. So let's say you're sitting on the couch, you wanna be open, ideally have your arm around her or have an open leg space. If you're like kind of off to the side, you got your body tilted the other way, shying off, like that's not gonna make her feel comfortable. And you'll tend to realize too is that when women are opening up to you, they're gonna mirror your body language. So if you're open, if you're comfortable, she might be shy at first, but over time she'll start to loosen up and get more comfortable too, right? Now, eye contact is another important aspect of body language, and this is how we're creating sexual tension. But there's a particular way you want to do this, and if you do it this way, it's going to make things a lot more heated. So basically, you don't just want to stare at her like a blank stare like this, right? Instead, as she's talking, you're gonna slowly tilt your head down or slightly tilt your head down, kind of have this piercing look in your eyes, maybe squint a little bit, and then have a smirk at the same time. Literally like this right here. It's almost like you're piercing through her soul. And in some cases, she'll actually comment on this. Like, hey, you're looking at me too aggressively, or why you got those eyes? Why are you looking at me like that? And she might do it back in a flirting way or like in a teasing sort of way. Now, this is number 4, and this also goes into building sexual tension, but we need to physically escalate. On my Patreon, I've done full guides on physical escalation, how I effectively do it, because each way, and depending on your personality, is gonna be a little bit different. However, there are some things that are pretty universal. Number 1, open the date or whenever you meet her with a warm hug. You know, it can be a 1-hand, 2-hand, really doesn't matter. This breaks the touch barrier. It gets her comfortable with your touch, because in order to move up this escalation ladder, you can't just go from not touching her at all to just diving in for a kiss. That's where things get awkward. That's where things get weird. And you yourself, you probably wouldn't even be comfortable with doing that. So that being said, open with a hug, but also throughout conversation, through light points or maybe humorous points of the conversation, give her a touch on the shoulder, touch her knee, like make very subtle ways and things to get her comfortable with you. And this is gonna take some time. This doesn't happen within like the first 20 minutes of conversation. It might actually take like a few hours. Now, something that I love to do, and this is free game right here, is actually the push and pull technique. This is where you give her a lot of energy. Maybe let's say, for example, you physically escalate a little bit harder, you wrap your arm around her. After that, you gauge her response, and if it goes well, after a few minutes, you completely pull back. You act almost distant, like in a weird way. You know, if you're on a couch, you back up a little bit, you know, you give her some space. If you're walking, you remove your hand and don't touch her whatsoever. And whenever you do this, it actually creates a level of attraction, because what do most guys do? They push and they stay there. So it's pretty obvious, like, hey, this guy likes me. I know what he's trying to do is what it is. But whenever you push and pull a little bit, you're giving her attention, you're on her, but then you completely retreat back and you repeat that a few times over the course of like an hour or two. It leaves an intrigue of mystery. What does this guy want to do? And this is mostly for like the first or second or third date. Like within that range, whenever you push and pull, it has worked so well. All right, let's talk about kissing. Now you finally made the move. You think it ends here? No, bro, it still doesn't. There's still a little bit of game you need to do if you fully want her to be comfortable with you and actually do the do with you. First off, soft kissing initially is way better than aggressive kissing. Some of you guys go right in with tongue, you know, you're super aggressive, you're letting your intentions clear, like, hey, you want to progress this to the bedroom. Only do that if she does that first. I'm telling you, start off with soft kissing, light touches of the lips, you know, don't use tongue, nothing like that. Just be very soft and gentle with it and slowly escalate your way up if, you know, it keeps on happening. But also what you want to do is, going back to the push and pull technique, is to pull back first. How many times have you kissed a woman and you think it's going to lead somewhere, but then she pulls back, right? And now you got to think about, should I kiss her again? Whenever you pull back first, that leaves you in the dominant frame control to actually make a move again. Now, the second time you make a move, like, yeah, try to keep it going, still be light in the kisses and stuff like that. But overall, the first time, do not just go straight for the close, right? Pull back first, talk for a little bit, then go back. Once again, we're creating that intrigue, we're creating that mystery, we're creating that overall desire. This is all foreplay, by the way. Like everything I'm talking about is to a degree foreplay, not only physically, but mentally. You're teasing her, letting her know the idea of what it will be like to actually sleep with you once it gets to that point. Now, the last thing you wanna do, let's say you go in for that second kiss, right? You wanna actually do things that sort of signify that you want to lead it to sex in a very subtle way. So this is mostly done through touch. For example, you're kissing her, what you wanna do is lightly go up on her neck and squeeze her neck for like a second, then pull back. Or maybe caress her hair, go into the deep scalp of her hair and pull her hair a little bit. Teasing her ever so slightly. Like this is so subtle, guys, but I promise you, it works so well. Now, once things do get a little bit more intense, this is where you can start kissing her erogenous zones. So her neck is a prime one. You always want to go towards the neck after kissing for a little bit. You know, you can go for the nipples, the breasts, areas on her body to where it is a lot more sensitive. And I would say just primarily focus on the neck area. Don't give her a hickey, don't suck it like crazy, nothing like that. Just once again, these light to moderately light sort of kisses, the more so turn her on. And you know, once you get to this point, you're actually in there, bro. Now you might get some last minute resistance. And once again, you always want to be indifferent. If she pulls back, doesn't want to do anything, say, hey, that's totally fine. You know, I want you to be comfortable, and I don't want to do anything you don't want to do. Let's talk a little bit more. That's totally fine. That's going to set her comfortability at an all-time high because she knows that, you know, you're not needy and you're not pressing for it. But then you're going to talk a little bit more, and then you're going to make the move again. And this is usually where, you know, you can break down that wall, but if not, then just call it a night. You're truly okay with not being so attached to sleeping with her. Just overall detach yourself from the outcome of sex itself, but at the same time, be strategic with it. Don't lead with it. Don't talk about it. Even if she is leading with it initially first, you don't want to fall into that trap of giving her that energy back, because most times it's not going to go in your favor. You still want to kind of be closed off, you know, oh, we'll see, maybe if we vibe. You know, time will tell. I gotta meet you first. We'll see. Have that sort of attitude, plus all these other tips, guys. I promise you, you're gonna start sleeping with women a lot more easier. All right. Don't forget to check out the free SMV calculator. Link will be down below. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.